Hey, welcome to episode 8 of Banko's Hoppy Hour. We're here at McCarthy's Red Stag Pub with owner Neville Gardner and
Doug Lisk.
some guy we just found standing outside, Doug Lisk. Doug Lisk, we call him the man about town here in the town of Bethlehem. He's very important. I think he sweeps the streets. He was integral in the parking garage and everything that's gone wrong in the city of Bethlehem, we attribute to Doug. Well, we'll talk about a good guy now. We'll talk about Neville. Okay, so Neville, this is your place, and this is the Red Stag. So can you, I remember years back when this was, I called a tea room, and I know you sell tea, but I don't see a lot of tea up on those shelves. And so it's sort of a pub now. Can you kind of let us know how it morphed from Granny McCarthy's tea room to where we are right now?
How much time do you have, right?
5 minutes. Go.
So, well, actually, it starts with Donegal Square, right? So my retail business in the front opened in 1985. My dad was very sick back in Ireland, and I had moved here 6 or 7 years before. I have an engineering degree. And opened Donegal Square as a way to go back and forwards. And a few years later, ended up buying this building. And part of the reason I bought the building was when I walked into this space, I don't know, there was just something about the light and the feeling that I got from it that reminded me of home. And so I knew it had to be some kind of a gathering place. That was sort of my vision was, okay, this is a place where people would come and experience hospitality and the culture of Ireland, the whole thing. So, I mean, there's a lot of things I missed. And I thought if I could recreate those here, how cool would it be? Now, in the back of my mind, okay, every Irishman wants to own an Irish pub. Right? Especially the ones that live in America. Right?
Exactly.
So that's like your lifelong, oh my God, how could I own an Irish pub? But I mean, it seemed a little unrealistic at the time. And, my mom's family was McCarthy's, right? So, but that part of the McCarthy family were in County Down in the north part of Ireland, just very close to Belfast. And so in our family, tradition was baking, brown bread and scones, cakes and buns, and, all that kind of stuff is what I grew up with. So that was where I went to first was, okay, let's do that. So anyway, we opened Granny McCarthy's back in 1997 and never really made any money. It's hard to make money selling scones and tea, Yeah. But gradually people were looking for more stuff. So we kind of morphed into more of a cafe and started to become a restaurant. And then I woke up one day and said, like an Irish restaurant without Guinness and beer and whiskey, and how do you do that? So no. So I went through this kind of a mental thing where I decided, okay, I'm going to figure it out. I'm going to get a liquor license and go for it, right? So 2008, after the crash in the market, and I owned the building by this stage. I bought the building, and the idea was that, okay, how do I make this profitable? So I took a look, Granny McCarthy's, okay, the coat of arms of the McCarthy family is a red stag. So I wanted to kind of emasculate the whole idea. Tea rooms, even though in the UK and in Ireland, men go to tea rooms, over here, they're like, oh, we're not going in there, we might get DEI'd or something if we went in there, So anyway, the whole thing was, okay, how do I change this? So we started and we bought the liquor license and started up with a tiny wee bar up in the front. We went through 5 or 6 different transformations, and here we are, 12 years later, 13 years later with the Red Stag Pub.
Yeah, I remember when it was the small little bar.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So I guess one of my next questions you already answered about the Red Stag, and then and the whiskey and the bakery. So you didn't mention the bakery, but how did the whiskey go in?
So my mom was a big Black Bush fan, big Bushmills fan, and that was like, I grew up in County Antrim, and it's the north of Ireland. Bushmills was the local distillery. I mean, it's so funny in America. Oh, that's Protestant whiskey, and then Jameson's is Catholic whiskey. Like, okay, it all tastes the same really when you get down to it. I don't think the barley and the malt really knows any difference. But at the time I thought, like, Ishkabiha, the water of life. I grew up with that idea that, if something was wrong with you, like when you were a baby and you were teething, guess what got rubbed on your gums? Whiskey.
Oh, okay.
Rubbed on the gums, right? And then when you had a cold, whiskey punch. a jorum of good whiskey and some brown sugar and boiling water and some lemon and maybe some cloves, stir it up. So I grew up, that was the cure for all ills, so it seemed like the natural thing to incorporate that. So we actually have a trademark now for a thing called Granny Mac. What Irish family doesn't have a Granny Mac? And so we're working with a local distiller to import whiskey from Ireland for us and bottle it. We can sell it by the glass here. And then we have an Irish cream that we make. That was my grandmother's recipe. We use that whiskey. And Chris Quant over at Triple Sun in Emmaus, he makes it for us. It makes Bailey's taste like rat poison.
Yeah.
So it's if you taste Granny Mac Irish cream, you'll be hooked on it. So yeah.
I have a couple Irish friends. One from Galway and used to work for Guinness. He's had a toothache for the last 50 years because I think he's been rubbing stuff on his teeth for the last 50 years. But looking at there's a really great holiday of a saint coming up on March 19th.
No way. Yeah.
March 19th would be St. Joseph's Day. But enough about that. Irish bar, St. Patrick's Day. It'll be coming up as when this posts. So what's the atmosphere like here at St. Patrick's Day? I know I've been here and it's great, but let everybody that is going to watch this, let us know what's going on here.
Oh, it'll be pretty manic. So St. Paddy's Day is actually on a Monday this year, which is kind of good for us because the festivities that Friday, Saturday, Sunday, will be like the parade.
We'll bleed into Monday.
Yeah, the parade is on Saturday the 15th.
Yes.
So it'll be a wild weekend. Lots and lots of music. We got some traditional music. We got some piping, dancers, and of course we'll have a special menu on for that weekend to try and make it easier to take care of people. One of the big things people come here for, of course, is traditional breakfast. Open it early on Paddy's Day. We have live music every Sunday morning here. A thing called Trad Brunch. And that'll be happening as well. And that goes from 11 to 1 every Sunday anyway. So we have live music and
get here early.
Atmosphere. Yeah. It's great atmosphere, So I sometimes have to pinch myself to say, okay, do I really own this? Is it am I imagining this or did it actually all happen? So it's a cool thing to have, and we have people coming from home, from Ireland, from Scotland, from the British Isles who come in here and it's the ultimate compliment when somebody from home says it's real. Yeah. Right? Our food's real, the atmosphere is real, and that goes a long way. We like the snugs that we built over here are kind of modeled on a pub in Belfast that I used to go to, the Crown, which is a phenomenal pub there, and so we took the architectural design from there and we recreated them here. One of our customers, Jimmy Mo. He
fabulous job in this place.
Yeah, he worked with Hoffert, and they did the construction. Another mate of mine, Glenn Lichtenwalner, architect. I gave him all the kind of ideas, and he took them and put them together and built them in. And of course, we have red stags all over the place, so it all fits.
Hand carved.
Yeah. He did incredible on the snugs and on the bar. He did that hand carving himself. I mean, I don't know how long it took him,
absolutely.
But it was like a labor of love. But people come in, and each of the snugs has a different theme. One of them's Cuchulainn, which is the traditional. It's the story of a boy warrior in Ireland who became known as the Hound of Ulster. In Irish, it's Cuchulainn, which is Cullen's Hound. And the next one's Gra. That's like the place where you come to propose or to celebrate. Gra is just the Irish word for love. And the last one, my mate Ken, hey Ken, if you're listening, I need the art for the third snug. Right? Get on it, please. It's going to be Cayley, right? So the whole thing with Cayley, it's a gathering, music, dance, storytelling, the whole thing. Oh look, the fresh. You can come through. Yeah, fresh.
That's
the
okay.
Fresh scones and stuff from our bakery coming through here.
Very nice.
Yep.
Very nice.
So the idea of making it real. Those are all things that that help make it the real thing. And of course, I love that. I love the authenticity. I want to be on our food. Our food is made with love. And the things that we have on our menu, like we've taken things from a lot of things that I grew up with. Like a good mate of mine has a restaurant in Temple Bar in Dublin, Pádraig Gallagher, and he has a place called Gallagher's Box Day House. And he gave me the recipe. He came to visit us, gave me the recipe for Box Day. and that's on our menu. So we have a breakfast box day, we have a lunch box day. We're just getting ready to do a corned beef box day over Paddy's Day. So there'll be lots of fun food, lots of fun activities. It'll be a fun time.
Yeah. So one of the other questions that I had for you was, and I guess you keep answering them before I ask.
Oh, sorry.
That's okay. Is how do you keep the Irish traditions alive? Like everybody can be, oh, this is an Irish bar.
Plastic Paddy is what I call those.
Is that right? Yeah.
Put a shamrock in the window and have a pint of awful Guinness. Like if they don't know how to pour a pint of Guinness, why bother, right?
That's one thing. I've been to Ireland many times, and I always say the best Guinness that you'll see looks fake. Like this doesn't even look like a beer. It looks like a black candle or something.
Yeah. Well,
but Doug will prove to you that it is actually.
Hey, cheers.
Cheers.
We're waiting to get these going here.
It's so much more than just a breakfast drink, too, you know?
Oh, you want a piece of that, too, huh?
It's interesting because people tell me all the time they don't think Guinness in America tastes anything like it does in Ireland, right? And so my answer to that is usually, well, they don't know how to pour the pint of Guinness, right? So whenever we were opening here, I have to give Doug here big credit. He was a big help. Banko were a big help in helping us figure out our system. I mean, we have a beer box in the basement. It's coming up through refrigerated lines. The lines are ultrasonically cleaned. The lines are flushed out every 2 weeks. We clean, the faucets, the whole, like, it's a cleanliness thing,
Yes.
So is Guinness in America much different than it is in Ireland? What do you think?
It's not. It's the same.
Brewed. People say to me, "Oh, it's brewed in America." No, it's not. It's brewed in Ireland.
So if it was brewed here and shipped to Ireland, it would taste better here.
Yeah, of course.
Because
absolutely, it's 3 weeks on a ship.
So I've been to Brazen Head, and a lot of the Dublin bars, Temple Bar, whatever. They get the beer. They made it yesterday.
Right. So it's fresh.
When you get it, it's at least a month.
Right.
At least.
That's what I tell people. So the whole Guinness family, like all the stuff that we buy from you, Smithwick's, Harp, and actually Kilkenny is the one that people come to us for a lot. So the part about Kilkenny that's so cool is that it's gassed with nitrogen, and that's what gives it that smooth mouthfeel. And we try to explain that to people in this country all the time. It's all about your system, how you pour it. It takes 119.5 seconds to pour the perfect pint, right? Yep. And you pour it. You let the head come up. You let it come up so far, and you put the last quarter in on the slow side of the top. And my staff will put a shamrock or a Trinity nut or something. I don't do that, but I don't think you'd find that in Ireland. But that's an added bonus of being in America, I guess, right?
Yeah. And again, I was over there. You want it to taste better over there.
Of course.
It's all about feel and atmosphere and environment.
Yeah.
If you're in Ireland and you don't think the Guinness tastes better there, then
right.
So why'd you go?
You're losing the experience.
Yeah, and I guess the other thing is that people in Ireland, like when you go into a busy pub, I take customers on tours. I do a couple of tours every year, Ireland, Scotland, Wales, England. When you go to a busy pub and you'll see 15 pints of Guinness sitting up on the bar, all with this much waiting to be poured into them.
Exactly.
And I've had people go with me and say, well, why are they not finishing off the pint? Or they order a pint and they go to take it off the bar. Get up! Yeah. It's not done yet, right? So part of it is the freshness. If you're like, we have 2 Guinness taps here. We always have 2 kegs on at one time, and we sell a lot of Guinness. When I look at my sales reports every day, the top item on there, first one's fish and chips. Second one is Guinness. Like that. In terms of revenue, but in terms of quantity, pints of Guinness are the largest selling item in this place.
Well, good. That's what we need.
So it's fresh, but it's fresh, right? That's the whole thing. Having it fresh, having it not sit for a month. If you're some Guinness pub that sells a keg of Guinness every 3 weeks or 4 weeks, forget it.
It's not going to be the same.
It's going to taste like poison,
Yeah. Well, not poison.
No, but not as good as it should be.
Not as bad as Old Bailey's.
Yeah, right. Exactly. Yeah, there you go.
We're going to have to try some of that stuff when we're done here. So any stories here about the history of the building prior to you?
Oh, yeah. So back at the Revolutionary War, whenever America was fighting for its independence from Britain, George Washington, he gave a young man from France a commission in the Revolutionary Army, Philip Boitier, and he was like 19. I'd never been in a battle, but he was passionate about fighting, sort of like the Irish people, So he came over and he says to George Washington, "Hey, give me a command." So he did. He gave him a regiment or whatever, and at the Battle of Brandywine, outside Philadelphia. His very first battle, he got shot in the leg. Right? Bad luck. Anyway, George Washington didn't want him to just go out with the common man because your man was gentry, right? So he got the landowner who owned the building that was here to actually nurse Lafayette back to health. And all the revolutionary soldiers, all the commoners were in the Sun Inn up here. Yep. Bethlehem was like a military hospital. Yeah. And anyway, apparently Lafayette, him and the girl, Liesel, her name was, apparently they had a bit of a thing. And so we believe, so he went back to France. She stayed here.
That's where college came from then, I imagine?
Yeah. So she stayed here. She became the village nurse. And the story goes that she never married and she died of a broken heart. And so we have like a poltergeist energy in the building. Mm-hmm. Like,
she was here too. All right, now I see what
you're
saying. Yeah.
Weird stuff. Some really weird stuff. So like a lot of times with water, like we had a fire here a year ago and a water line above the fire opened, put the fire out, and then closed again. I can't really explain it. We didn't have any water damage. We had no we had no water damage, but yet the fire got put out. Right? The day we were opening here, back in 1997, I had a call from a woman in the kitchen baking. She said, there's water coming through the ceiling of the kitchen here. You better get in here. And I came in, went upstairs, and the whole place was super saturated with water. It was like every time you put your foot down, the water squelched under the carpet. No water was running, no leaks, no windows open. Even the drawers under the sink were full of water. Nobody could get in there, only me. And the whole place was super, and I never could explain it. So, I don't know. Yeah. Liesel, she's got something going on, so it adds a bit of flavor to the place.
Get her a pint.
Yeah. Well, she hasn't been drinking pints that I know of, but if she got taste Guinness, she might be converted,
Yeah. So we're looking at this whole area here on the north side of Bethlehem's really changed over the last couple of years. You've been a big part of that. So what are your thoughts on the whole vibe from Hotel B to Joe's Tavern and all the other places around? I don't want to miss anybody, but
Well, it's a great spot to come. Like we just finished an Airbnb on the third floor that we're going to be renting out, but because we see the potential for tourism here. Obviously, the city just got UNESCO World Heritage ranking. The historic travelers coming here, but if you look at what's here, it's not a huge area. It's like a big village. Bethlehem. Yeah. Bethlehem is just like a big village. A couple of streets. It's going to develop. The boy just opened up the street. My mate Rocco just opened up 200 apartments up there. Fantastic. They're going to be apartments right behind us. They knocked the parking garage down behind us to build a new one. Okay, you can't make a cake without breaking eggs, right? So
true.
That parking deck was
make the cake a little quicker. If you can. I don't know how that works.
Well, it doesn't rise though, right? The cake wouldn't rise. So they knocked the deck down to build a new one. So it's definitely hurt our business. People
you got no place to put your car.
The whole scene.
Yeah. But I think an election year, it was a tough year last year. But I think the whole vibe is brilliant here. You got the Apollo, you got Edge, you got Joe's up the street, you got Rippers on the corner.
Sure.
You got Urbano next door. You got a couple of Thai restaurants. You got a French restaurant. You got a tapas place. Down the street, Hotel Bethlehem has 2 or 3 restaurants. You got the Brew Works. Obviously,
a couple microbreweries.
Certainly the United Nations of food.
There's a ton of choices. So it is. We love the fact that rising tide lifts all boats.
Right.
Even the Sun Inn up here do their thing. The Sun Inn Courtyard has music. I think it's only going to get better as time goes on. But it's a great spot to come. We have people come here at Christmas time from Long Island, from Washington D.C. They just come to spend the weekend in Bethlehem,
Which is I'll throw it out there. It's crazy how much Guinness actually gets sold to this place. And, March, St. Patrick's Day, there's going to be a lot of Guinness coming out here, right?
Oh, yeah.
But when you're here in December, the numbers are just like March. People come in, they stop here, they get their pint, they go down, shop around, and come back for another pint.
Yeah.
It's a lot of Guinness.
It's a year-round experience, for sure.
The authenticity of the Guinness and the Irishness of the bar has made the place like a destination where they come into. I want to say this was a couple years back, but this is one of the top 20 selling Guinness accounts in the country, and I think it was between 5 or 10 just on the East Coast.
Wow!
So you got to remember, we got Boston, we have New York City that sell a lot of Guinness, and then this little side alleyway Irish pub.
It's incredible. I mean, it's definitely a tribute to my staff. You know that.
Right, the quality. That's what people come back for. I mean, the Guinness guys always tell us, listen, you pour a bad Guinness, that guy's going to say thank you, pay you, and leave.
Yeah.
You pour a good Guinness, he's going to have 2 more, and he's going to tell his friends about it. And then they're going to come and have 2.
Yeah.
So it just grows by quality. And again, it's not about how much it costs or any of that stuff. It's about the quality of the pour. So you guys have been doing a good job.
Oh, thank you. Yeah.
So part of the area around here and is the festivals that we have with Music Fest and Celtic Fest.
Celtic Classic.
Yeah.
Celtic
Sorry.
Classic.
Classic. Yeah.
The bill says Celtic Fest, so I like what the bill says.
Yeah.
So it's Celtic Classic. So a lot of your place is always sort of like in the kind of the hub, especially Music Fest. You're like snack down in the middle of this, and Celtic Classic is sort of down the road.
Yeah.
But you're a big part of that. Those things also help lift.
They're massive. Yeah. I mean, the reason that you can be successful as a business in town here, the foot traffic from the different things. Okay, Lehigh Valley, it's got 5 or 6 universities. It's got Lehigh over the river, Moravian here, parents coming in weekends throughout the year. You got Music Fest was probably the single most largest economy driver for Bethlehem, in my opinion. I mean, I wouldn't be in business if it wasn't for Music Fest. Celtic Classic, I was involved in helping to get it started. Obviously that's a huge event that brings a lot of people. Last weekend in September, Celtic Cultural Alliance, who run Celtic Classic, are doing the parade on St. Patrick's Day, or on the Saturday before St. Patrick's Day this year, the 15th. And that's going to be a great day, going to be a really busy day. Like, if you want to be in an atmospheric place, Bethlehem is the place to be. Christmas time, Chris Kinnelmart over on the south side, the live music that they bring to, the steel stacks. We have more and more and more Irish musicians contacting us to come here and play. So we've got Grania Hunt. She's going to be at Godfrey Daniels here on the 2nd of May, I think. She's an Irish musician. We've got a guy, Patrick Gallagher, who's coming in sometime in the next couple of months. Our
Sounds
website,
a bit Irish.
Yeah, very. Yeah. So redstagpub.com is that's our website.
Right.
But we have social media. We've got Instagram, we've got Facebook. I think we might even have a TikTok that we
So,
started.
Neville, I'm going to interrupt you. So, I would say, like, if you want to go to a concert, you go to a concert, you listen, you go, yay, when they're done singing. But when they're doing Irish music at a pub, everybody's involved. So you're singing along, you're beating on the table, and it's how they told stories back in the day. That it's not songs; it's more about like how your family was made, what war you fought in. There's always a story to it, and then people sing along, and then they follow with the verses, and it's a community social thing that everybody gets together and participates in. It's not just
absolutely
not
They
just
call that
witnessing
Neville
it.
crack.
Crack. I used to do a radio show on whenever Jolly Joe Trimmer owned
Okay.
Oh God.
whatever that station was up the street here, right?
WWW or something.
Yeah, something, yeah. But I mean, I did a radio show there for about 5 years on a Saturday morning, 9 o'clock every Saturday morning. And I mean, a couple of times, like I had to literally climb up the fire escape to get in because they forgot to open the front door. And I'm up there with like 20 CDs under my arm, climbing up the fire escape. I'm up on the roof, bang on the, let me in, And then the sound engineer thought, oh, duh, I forgot to let him in, right? So I'm in, and so I would do the show from 9 to 10 every Saturday morning. And I didn't think anybody was listening. I thought for sure, because on like these big fancy radio stations where they do a giveaway and like 400 million people call in to get it. Yeah. Nobody ever called in when I did something. Nobody called. I'm thinking, shit, I'm the only, I'm on here talking to myself, and I would bring a newspaper in and, the Kerry man, and read about some farmer in County Kerry whose cow escaped, sort of really low heavy duty stuff, but just real cultural stuff from Ireland. So after about 3 or 4 years, I thought, okay, I'm done with this now. So I stopped. Every time I would go out somewhere, people say, I wish you still did that radio show. We really liked it.
Why didn't you call in?
Yeah. So
they didn't know the number.
Yeah, but I did that for you. So the whole idea, so I booked the music for Celtic Classic for about 10 years, and obviously I'm very passionate about the music. I was standing in a queue in Scotland, in Glasgow, about 5 years ago, waiting to go see a band called the Peatbog Fairies, right? Who are like a sort of a Scottish ska, punky, Celtic, all rolled into one. Really interesting band, Peatbog Fairies, right? I'm standing in the queue and some woman says to me, hey, you own that shop in Bethlehem, don't you? And I said, yeah, I do. was like blown away. I'm standing in Glasgow.
Like, get a picture with me.
Yeah. I'm a legend in my own mind. So it's kind of cool. So that the music part, I mean, Celtic Classic was a way to bring the great music in. They could use a wee bit of an adjustment in what they're booking, but you know, it's still obviously an event that people want to come to. So
get down and do a little jigging, right?
Yeah.
Absolutely. So, you know, our favorite is Guinness, but other brands of beer that Banko and you have partnered with that you feel is
oh my God,
successful?
Magners is huge. Our pear cider is huge, and I know we couldn't get it for a while, and we got it again. It's all set now, but
yeah.
So whenever we first opened, we had like a kegerator. Like
it was a beautiful system.
In the back of the room there.
Yeah.
Was it?
Yeah, and so we figured
rigged
out
it up nice.
What can we? How many kegs can we fit in there? So I think at that time we only really wanted to do sixtels, right, of some of the beers. And so Doug said, put the pear cider on and try that. Oh my God, pear cider has become, you know, even in our Sunday morning when we do a Sunday morning drink, what do you call the one when you put
mimosa?
Orange juice? Mimosa. So we put pear cider in our mimosa.
And it's good.
Pear cider. I mean, then we do a snake bite, right? So Guinness. Everybody thinks Guinness is a heavy beer. It's a light beer,
very
right?
good,
Light in terms of density, and also it's low alcohol. It's only 4%, right? But so you can actually float Guinness on top of pear cider. So that's our snake bite with a couple of little dots of black currant in it to make it the 2 bites of the snake tongue. And we do a blacksmith, which is a Guinness and Smithwick's. We do a half and half Guinness and Harp. You know,
You can get an IPA. Put some Guinness on top.
You'll get a dirty look at Temple Bar if you ask them for a half and half.
Oh, I know. But we used to sell a beer from Scotland. I'm trying to think of what it was called.
Tenants.
Yeah, but there was a darker one, and we used to float Guinness on it. We called it a Black Scot. So you know, we have 24 beers on our.
It'll come to me. Listen.
Yeah. But I mean, obviously, we try to rotate. You know, everybody has different taste. You know, we try to rotate different beers. We've even done a couple of beers for my dogs, right?
Yeah, we got Fergus.
Yeah, we had Fergus's Red Ale, and then we had Cormac's Revenge. Anybody who knows Cormac, he's not here right now, but if he was here, he'd have his muzzle on, you know. Cormac's a bit of a bugger, you know, but so Cormac's Revenge.
Luck Dragon. You look like a Luck Dragon.
Yeah. So, but obviously you have to appeal to all tastes. But, I mean, our key beers are the ones we get from you guys. You know, Smithwick's, Harp, Guinness, of course.
Kilkenny. I mean, we only got a couple. We got a couple guys up in Stroudsburg that carry it, but I mean, if you like Irish beers, Kilkenny's one that's very different than what you're thinking when you have Guinness.
Truthfully,
there's only a couple
if you
people
didn't
in the
sell
state.
it might not even be in our house.
Yeah, we don't have
Really?
it.
Really?
Truthfully,
We're like one of the only people in the state that carry it. I don't
Yeah.
think it's in New Jersey. Like it's
Wow.
a destination product. So
yeah.
Well, thank you. We appreciate it.
Thank you.
For that, and especially for Magners.
yeah. It took a
So
while.
anything like recommending I'm coming in a food and beer pairing.
Oh, yeah. So probably the Guinness fish and chips combo is probably the top one. Our box day is phenomenal. The box day is like a potato crepe. It gets chicken and leeks and mushrooms in a fondue sauce. Goes great with Smithwick's. Great pairing with Smithwick's.
Where did the beef and wit go?
The beef on a weck, well, we changed it over. We kind of tweaked it to the Donegal dip.
All right.
Right, so the Donegal dip is very similar, and that's a great one to have with Guinness.
Yeah.
So we use our own homemade onion gravy. We roast our sides of roast beef off. I mean, we bring
The cheesesteak's not really a cheese. Well, it's a cheesesteak. But
Red
it's an
Stag
Irish-
cheesesteak is corned beef,
Yeah, it's good.
cabbage, caramelized onions, and Swiss cheese. All melts together.
You can dip that in a Guinness.
Oh yeah! Oh my God! Yeah, that's great with Guinness. So yeah, those traditional. I mean, our traditional breakfast goes fantastic with I think with Magners. Yeah, it's a great way to do a traditional breakfast.
Yeah, the ciders, they're very good and
Crisp.
you could drink them anytime.
Yeah.
Anytime.
And, I mean, we do a lot of whiskey pairings as well. But obviously, if you're having a burger, I mean, there's nothing better than we have a wild boar burger with a nice long pint of Harp. Great combination. Just really hits the spot. So our burgers go fantastic. All of our burgers go fantastic with any of the lighter
With a
beers.
crisp lager,
With
yeah.
any of the lighter colored lagers. Yeah. So right now our happy hour is coming back in 3 days a week. We have a mini fish and chips that we offer on the happy hour, which comes in a little fry basket, with fish goujons and some chips with it. We have a Dublin toasty, which is our brown bread with Irish bacon and Kerrygold cheddar cheese, and put on.
What's Irish bacon?
So our pork loin bacon. So would you? It's like a bit like Canadian bacon.
All right.
Like the bacon that you have in America, that stuff that goes all crispy.
Yeah.
Like Irish bacon is actually the loin.
It's like ham.
So it's sort of like ham, but it tastes better.
You could hit it with a blowtorch,
pork
it
roll.
wouldn't get crispy.
Yeah, I think.
pork roll.
Yeah.
Yeah,
But
I
it's
think
really good. I mean, it's real bacon. You have to chew it.
Yeah, I remember being over in Ireland, and we went to Westminster, beautiful hotel. So my friend and I, if you remember Tom Bonzo, and so Tom and I, we go down and we're going down for breakfast. So the first time you're in Europe and you go to the breakfast buffet.
Hell is that? That ain't
I
bacon.
said, wait a minute, can I have bacon? That's bacon. That ain't bacon.
Where are my
Like,
sausage links?
And why is that egg orange? It's like because everything is also fresh and, and different.
Well, and I think that's one of the big differences. The dairy and eggs and milk and cream. I mean, all the meat in Ireland is all grass fed. I mean, they're not really putting corn in the food, so you.
The candy. My brother was just over in Ireland. They bring the candy back. They don't use the red dye, whatever number it is, in their candy tasting.
Yeah.
I mean, Neville imports all food from there too.
Yeah, we have a lot of
Come by.
foodstuffs. We have, and actually we have the sausage and bacon and black pudding and stuff in our freezer.
Yeah.
So yeah, when you go in the shop, there's obviously the jumpers, the sweaters, and tweeds and tartans. This is our Hope for Life cancer tartan that we developed. So, but yeah, there's lots of cool choices down there.
And made in Ireland, the flannel shirts. Like it's authentic.
Yes, the real job.
The real deal.
So one question, the dream guest to come in here, gonna have a pint with Neville. Who is it? Number one person in the world.
I'm already here, so second best.
Second to Doug.
That's a really good question. I'm a big James Bond fan.
Okay.
All right.
So which one?
Sean Connery.
Okay.
Man,
Right.
that would be that'd be cool.
That'd be fun.
Yeah.
Yeah, Sean Connery. He was the Scottish dude, I mean, I'd probably have more hair than he does, right? So that would be.
I mean, he'd be pretty funny to have.
Yeah.
A
Oh,
he
I'm
would.
sure he would.
Or Daniel Craig,
Yeah.
He's handsome. That guy's
Yeah,
handsome.
I'm a big soccer fan too. So David Beckham.
What's that thing you do?
We show
Curling? No. What?
field hockey.
No. That'd be,
Field
you do
hockey.
field hockey. What's
Yeah.
that? The other one that. Isn't it
Well,
curling?
you're thinking of hurling.
hurling.
Yeah, hurling's a madman game, but no, I play field hockey. So I just played in a US 65 plus team, a World Cup tournament in Cape Town last October.
Yeah. So I play regular ice hockey, and he plays field hockey. We have these conversations,
Yeah.
but it gets nasty over there.
Yeah. Well, you can do a lot of damage with a stick if you know how to use it, So it was fun. My team, we played in Cape Town. We played 6 games. Okay, if you look at it from the glass half full, we're 16th in the world.
Nice.
If you look at it from the glass empty, we came last in the tournament.
Okay.
But
enough.
I have to tell, as my wife pointed out, hey, your team's 16th in the world. There's a lot of teams below you, right? We played 6 games. We had 5 days of training. One of my mates, Louis Bobro, he's from Cape Town and he lives in Texas. I had such a ball. It was like being 20 again. It was such a good time. So my teammates are from all over America, mostly expats. A few Native Americans, like people who were born here, I mean.
Right.
I don't mean like
I know what you meant.
Arapahoes,
Yeah.
But people from Barbados.
And you have to wear a kilt, right?
No,
I'm making a joke.
No,
I'm making a joke.
No. You don't. I'm happy to wear a kilt. We sell kilts. We have a Bethlehem tartan kilt, but it was a blast. It was a lot of fun. Cape Town is an incredible spot, but it was so much fun. But there was even pints of Guinness in Cape Town.
Well, hey, it's
think
the
that
number one selling beer in Africa too. The foreign Guinness stout.
Yes. Yeah, absolutely.
Little plug.
So you already, I think you answered the question that how people can look up the events that are here, and but this is a personal question.
Yeah.
That I have. 2020.
Right.
How'd you come up with the igloos?
The igloos. Yeah. Well, I have to give my wife credit for that. Credit where it's due. When you have a problem and you decide to solve it. I mean, you can look at a problem and say, I'm going to solve it, or I'm going to lie back and not solve it, right? So, okay, here we are. We're surrounded by freaking COVID. I'm like, okay, there has to be a way to solve this. The city were very helpful. They kind of, withdrew some of the restrictions. And of my wife, who's like a massive online person, she's like, "Oh look, I found these igloos!" Right? So we put the igloos up, and we had wee heaters in them, and my staff all thought I was totally mental, but it worked. You know, we got through it. Somehow we got through it.
I remember driving by a park, and I'm like going, "What the hell is that?" And then
Irish igloos.
I thought it was
Scottish igloos.
Scottish ingenuity.
Well, if you go over to Chris Kinlemore at Christmas time, they have igloos at Steel
They've been
Stacks
rocking
today.
them,
I still have one of those igloos in the back of my car. Actually.
I just thought it was amazing. It's like ingenuity, and like again, you can sit back and cry and bitch and moan, or
get on with it.
Or get on with it. Is right. Well, that's all I have, Nev, and it's been a pleasure.
Yeah,
I like the stories. I like the crack, as we say, and I love the Guinness. And we thank you for your business, and we thank you for taking the time this morning.
Oh, my pleasure.
To crack. With us.
Have a bit of crack with you.
I drank mine. I'm gonna have another.
Yeah. So like when I did that radio show, that's what I started to talk about. The first day was on the show. I said, it was great crack. And then I thought, people are going to think I'm out snorting something. No, the kind of crack I'm talking about is fun. Good time. Sport.
Good time.
Yeah. So it was great crack chatting with you guys. Thank you.
Thank you, Neville.
Absolutely.
All right.
Well, thank you very much.
Cheers.
Appreciate it.
Thanks, Joe.
Cheers.
Thanks, guys.